Hi, this is Andrew Aversa with Impact Soundworks, and today I'm excited to show the first walkthrough of Rosette Fingerstyle. Rosette is our new acoustic guitar series based on the SHREDDAGE engine we've been refining for over a decade. This particular fingerstyle guitar is a Taylor 414 CE recorded with 2 mic positions as well as a direct out in exquisite detail. Let's first listen to how it sounds. In Rosette Fingerstyle, we've captured recordings of each finger separately, in addition to 5 dynamic levels, per string and per fret sampling, giving you an incredible amount of depth and life in every sample. Naturally, this means the instrument has a huge variety of possible sounds, depending on what fingers, frets, and strings are used. The easiest way to experiment with different sounds and styles is by the Performance Style dropdown here. Our default has legato turned off and is ideal for more classical style playing, as the name suggests, which is often more arpeggiated. Note the position of the virtual hand illustrated by the highlights on the fretboard. You can move this manually with a hand position knob, or we can just switch to another style like classical high. In general, as you play on the higher frets, you get a more smooth and warm tone with shorter notes. Also, higher strings tend to be brighter. Let's contrast this with the low position. You'll hear more of the lovely steel string sound here. Now, we'll switch over to playing an expressive lead. I'll select mono legato. Note that you can toggle legato on or off as a key switch as well. See this highlighted key here. In this mode, playing overlap notes at high velocity will trigger hammers and pulls, and lower velocity overlaps will trigger lovely slides. Now, all of these mappings, of course, can be changed in the Articulations tab. Just like with the classical styles, adjusting the hand position can have a huge impact on the sound. If I want a really sonorous, mellow lead, setting the hand position high is a good idea. There's also workstation mode, which bypasses the typical string limits of a real guitar while keeping all of our wonderful variations and dynamic levels. This is the best way to just dive in and get a great sound out of the box. As a quick aside, because we have recorded notes with multiple fingers, the fingering mode dropdown determines how the engine should assign those fingers. In the default classic style, for example, the thumb is generally used for the lower strings, while the other fingers alternate for the higher strings. Now in workstation mode, the tremolo style is used, where each note alternates between all the fingers, giving you up to 10 round robins on a single note. You can check out the manual to learn more about these fingering modes. Another way to play Rosette is with the Strumming Engine, which is especially nice for a fingerstyle guitar like this. Let's first try it using the Strum on Poly input option. When enabled, this will trigger a lovely chord strum whenever you play at least 2 notes in the Poly input window, which is a buffer length set by this knob on the main page. Note how the strum speed is currently linked to velocity, so my low velocity chords are strummed more slowly, while the fast ones are almost instant. We could instead change this to work on a MIDI CC so that we can write dynamics and strum speed independently. Now we'll turn off Strum on Poly input and set that knob to 0 to try another way to trigger chord strums, using the dedicated strum keys. Play whatever chord you'd like, then use these keys to automatically strum the entire chord, either down or up. This way you can create whatever rhythms you want. The strum speed continues to be controlled by CC2, like we said a minute ago. Try using the sustain pedal too as you strum because it makes a big difference for realism. I'm going to be using it here. Now to do a partial up or down strum, where you downstroke some of the strings and you upstroke the others, use these keys, which are right next to the regular up and downstroke keys. One key will play the lower strings of the chord, and one key will play the upper strings. The distance between the two is being set by CC6 in this example by default. This all sounds a little complex, but you'll get it as soon as I demonstrate. Basically, just listen to the chords as you see the down and upstroke keys at the top of the piano roll, and then watch the CC6 automation, which is changing the distance. Beyond strumming, you can also re-articulate individual notes of a chord with the pick string keys. Like before, play and hold whatever chord you'd like, and you should use the sustain pedal. Then tap one of these keys to pick one of the strings used in the chord, from low to high. The sustain pedal is crucial here so the strings ring out like you're actually plucking a guitar. This is incredibly convenient for fingerstyle playing, and it sounds great. So for all of the above features, you have to hold the chord that you want to strum or articulate. But you can make your life easier with strumming mode. The strum keys and picking keys work exactly the same way here, but now you can tap the chord you want in the playable range, and when you let go, it will be stored indefinitely until you change chords. And if you want to hear the chords that you're playing, the ones that you're setting with the left hand, you can turn that on in Strum Audition mode, but just be aware that this should be turned off for rendering as it's not intended for final playback. Now let's check out some other ways to adjust the tone and sound of this instrument. One of the simplest things you can do is adjust the smooth knob. This is like the opposite of bite in the SHREDDAGE series. When the knob is all the way down, you get the raw, full sound from the mics. As we increase the knob, some of the slightly harsher frequencies are smoothed out. We can also adjust the signal slider to alternate between the DI position, the stereo KM184s, and the warm U87 mic. If we hop over to the console tab, we can mix all of these signals together, along with a wide variety of effects, to create our perfect guitar sound. It depends on the track and the style you're creating, but personally I often like using the KM184s and the U87 together to give a mix of warmth, body, and detail. Add a little bit of reverb and you're good to go. We've also created a number of tone snapshots to get you started. Let's check out some of those now. Okay, so swinging back to the main engine page, I'll demonstrate some of the other articulation sounds. By default, the articulations are key switches, so we'll go down the list, starting with mute. Then there's tapping, where the notes aren't plucked with the fingers, but tapped like a hammer-on. The non-pitched chokes are useful for rhythm parts. You could map these to a low velocity if you want. We have tremolos as well as muted tremolos, and you can adjust the speed for those on the Articulations tab. Finally, both natural and artificial harmonics. Using the right amount of noise is really important for getting a great virtual guitar performance, so let's play with the noise volumes now. Sometimes what might seem like too much noise and isolation can actually be perfect in the context of a mix with other instruments, so don't be afraid to try cranking these up and see how it sounds. There are also noise keys that are mapped down in this area on the keyboard, which you can manually place throughout your track wherever you'd like. And that concludes our overview of Rosette Fingerstyle and the sounds it comes with. The engine is very powerful and very customizable, so definitely check out the manual if you want to look under the hood a little bit more and really customize it to your taste. We think you're really going to love our first acoustic shreddage, as people have been calling it, and we hope to make more videos giving you tips for how to best write for and perform using an acoustic guitar. Rosette Fingerstyle is available now from Impact Soundworks with free contact player compatibility and NKS support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.